here it is. So I did the test fit on there, tried it on, make sure it didn't get out of whack, move any. It was good. Twisted a little bit. All I did was just grab it, twist it back. I mean, it's just metal. Move it how you want to. While I was there, I went on ahead and marked it because I'm going to end up cutting it. I'm actually going to slide this under my inner rocker and spot weld it to the inner rocker. And this will be the bottom of my rocker. And here what I've got is bolt my fender down, like my fender's just flapping. So if I bend this to here, fold this up, I may be able to use this for a bracket. I'm gonna cut that right quick, and then I'm gonna go down there and cut the lip off of the bottom of that rocker. All right, back down here. Let me show you what happened. See, a while back before I stopped working on it again, I had set it down here already and marked this blue line. My rocker looked all nice and perfect. So now that we did all this welding and everything, we put it back on again. And when I set it on this blue line, it dropped my gap quite a bit. Like it was just so down. So, and that's following the black line. And I really want my gap to look, as perfect as possible. So I'm probably going to end up going with this, going on the black line, even though it looks odd, but the gap is straight to my door, and that's all I care about. So here we go. We're cutting. No turning back now. All right, there it is again. We have it clamped down. Like they say, 3 times the charm. So this is our third and last time we're doing this. So, all right. I'm going to mark it again and then rescribe it because I forgot to pull my metal up, and it looks, I got like 10 lines over here going on. Now what I'll do is I'll pull this back and then scribe my line. Perfect. Now there's zero confusion. All right, so this is it right here. I'm really digging it. So, this will come in just right there, and my line is lined up to the door. Everything's looking nice. So now I'm gonna go underneath there and do the tedious job of drilling, and I'll put some clecos in, set it in place, and then I'll go back in, pull cleco, and spot weld one at a time, and then we'll continue with the rest. So it's looking really good, especially from underneath. So I can't wait to show you. Okay, now welcome to the bottom, to the undercarriage. So here's my rocker, right? And this is what we did. And, things that I've learned for the next one, the next time I cut the other floor out, I'll keep these braces. That way I could just extend it and weld it to here, because now I'm just going to have to make something that works, which is not a problem either, but the factory stuff just makes it look a little cleaner, a little nicer. But so far I'm super proud of this. I'll start drilling holes right here, cleco this in place. I love my fender. Once I get it bolted in, you can really see what it's going to look like. So I'm feeling fully confident about this side more than the other side, but that's okay. It's not a problem. So, all right. Well, let me get to drilling because I have a ton of holes to drill. Alright, so now that we all agree that the rocker is looking good and looking great, now we'll measure this inside rocker. So I'm looking at 34 and an 1/8, 3.5, and then measure back here, and I've got 3 3/8. So perfect. I can work with that. And as you see, I cheated already because I already made my piece. I added an inch So instead of 35 in the eighth, 34 in the eighth, I made it 36 in the eighth, so I could add an inch on each side for a lip. So now I bring my piece that I've nicely folded and just a rough, quick, just to see if it's kind of going to work. And if it does, then I think we're getting somewhere. There it is. Man, I like that. It fits really nice. Here, I'll figure all this out once I get there. For the rest of it, I think that's wrap. I think I'm going to go ahead and make it just like this. I might not make the lip as big, 1 inch. I might make it a little shorter, 3/4 inches. But I'll leave the 1 inch lip on both sides. I like that. This is the first rocker I made, and it's all good. And then you get to this side, and I got a little excited, and you know, you can kind of tell. I mean, you can't really tell, but you can kind of tell. So I'm gonna make another one. I figure it didn't take me that long. We'll cut this real quick. Then after I cut it, I'm gonna clean that up really, really, really nice. There it is, my piece. I'm gonna start all over. Oops. Luckily I was wearing my gloves, or that would have just sliced me right there. My X's, I marked those X's there. One there, one there. I'm gonna cut those out because this is gonna be a 90 bend right here. And this is gonna be a 90 bend, which is my front and rear pillar on the lower pillars. Up here, this line up here, it's going to be bent also as a 90, and that's going to go against my inner rocker. Then I'll spot weld it in. And then this line here basically is my center line from here to here. And this line here is my center line from here to here, because it's going to be bent up. So I know that I'm going to be spot welding it to the floor here. So I'll try to stay away from, leave me a little lip. And I know that this has got a 90 here, so I'll stay away from this line, leave me a little gap, and see if I can come up with some kind of idea, some kind of something that looks sort of nice. I'm going to go 3/8 of an inch. Might as well just do half. Just do half. And all I'm doing this line for is because I know that I have to stay under this line or stay above this line. This is just telling me, hey, this is where my spot welds go. And then, I guess since I did a 1/2 inch there, I'll have to do a 1/2 inch up here. So I know this line is where I come down. If I fall, guys, my horse is not as stable as it. Oh, snap! Okay, that was a warning to get off. Woo! Let's try this again. If you guys were entertained, only do it once. So I know when I'm looking at it, this is my left side. When I walk up to it and open the door, this is what I'm looking at, okay? I guess I'll put an arrow here so I know up. Check these out right quick. These little squares, just get them out the way. Much better. There it is. Perfect. Size washer. Set it right here. Fit both lines. Now, I'm going to take my time this time, and I'm going to roll it. I'm going to do a test piece just so I know, and then we'll go to town. Okay, here's my test piece, 18 gauge. Now what I'm wanting to do is, basically I need to know, I'm touching there, okay? So now that I'm touching here, I've got my line right here marked. How many turns does it take to get the bead that I'm looking for? And normally it's around 2.5 or 3. I'm gonna do 3 because I really want it to be like really pronounced. So I'm gonna go from here and turn it 1, 2, and then 3. And I'll know pretty soon if that was too much, because this thing will not let you turn or it'll look super weird. Okay, just right out the gate, I can see that. Man, 3 turns is kind of nice. I'm going to try to keep it there because I'm liking this 3 turns. So here I'm going to go slowly. And as I turn, I'm just focusing on that line, trying to keep that line in the center of my die the entire time. As long as I'm in the center, there ain't no problems. There we go. There we go. Come back around. Yeah, 3 might be a little tight. So I'm going to have to figure out maybe a different setting. Here's the turn again. Remember, just keep it moving. As long as your arm's moving and this is twisting, we are all to the good where we need to be. And we are back to where we started. Okay, so now I will turn it 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4. I'm going to have to hammer and dolly some of this, but I do like it. Very nice. May run with it, and hopefully it doesn't warp my piece. So here I go. Just take my time, keep it straight. And as long as my black line is in the center of my die, then I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I've got the brake hooked up. I'm going to use this line where I cut to help me guide this pretty straight. Now the left side I know is going to be a 90, closer to the front. And the reason they're different is because I made them that way. Let's try that. Pull this out. Might have been a little too much. There it is. This one I'm barely going to bend it because I'm still not sure how it's all going to work. Do a small bend just so we know where it's at. Voila. Let's figure out how we're going to bend this piece right here because I really need to bend it. I guess I should have bent it first, but live and learn. Live and learn. I know how to do it. Okay, wait 2 seconds. So, 34 and 1/8 inches. I say we cut it at, how about number 23? Now I'm going to cut it here. And then when I put it back together, of course, I will use the metal so you can see where it goes, but also I'll use these 2 blue lines with gray as witness lines. Let's cut it. For those of you who are just joining in, I am cutting it because my brake is only 28 inches
long, and this piece is 34¼ inches long. All right, here we go. Ooh, one more. It's a little extreme, but cheap Harbor Freight tools. Got to work with what you got sometimes. I don't have a problem with it. It's just time consuming. Now, let's bend that thing. And now, as you see, my piece will go back together like so. I'll transfer that to over here. Very nice. Okay, this is the bottom side, so I do want to make sure that I weld on the bottom side and just penetrate enough where I have minimum grinding on the front. Oh, this is our bottom. My bad. I'm on track now. Now I'm going to mark my hose, spot weld this thing. Being that it's part of my structure, I'm going to go ahead and do them every 2 inches. And that'll make it plenty strong. And some of these you could do 3 inches or 4 inches. The closer together you do them, of course, more strength. Sometimes 2. Every 2 inches is still a lot of spot welds. Plug welds, spot welds, whatever you want to call them. It's all the same business. So remember, 1/2 inch from the edge and then 2 inches apart after that. So now I'm going to do the top as well. Will be spot welded in. We'll do odds this time since I did evens. Change it up a bit so I can forget halfway through and then finish it off on even numbers. Just joking. See, I got confused. 7, 9, 11. Feels good to be working back on Gym Bug again. It's been a long time. I'm going to try to spend this entire week on Gym Bug. That would make me a happy camper. And I know it would make wifey a happy camper. And I can say happy wife, happy life. To all the rookies out there who ain't figured it out yet. Next, I would drill my hose. I'm going to speak through this because I'm sure you don't want to see. For installing these pieces, we're going to clean them up really good. Here I've got wax and grease remover. I'm going to use a little bit of acetone. You can see I've got some Sharpie marks on there. I'm going to get rid of all the Sharpie marks. So not only will this remove fingerprints and all that stuff, this will actually remove any markers with a Sharpie or pen or even a little bit of spray paint. It just takes it right off. Let me hit it a little bit with some of this OSFO. I don't talk about it all the time. You basically just, I normally spray it on, but my sprayer broke. So I'm going to wipe it on, and then I'm going to wipe it off. So I'm going to let that dry because it leaves like a film on it. And on the inside, I'm going to end up spraying it with the Rust-Oleum primer. I like Rust-Oleum because it prevents rust. So you figure cleaning it with wax and grease remover, acetone, and then gems or OSFO, sealing it with a Rust-Oleum primer, man, I'm telling you. The door is hitting right here, and this needs to be lifted up. What I'm end up doing is I'll put a jack with the 2x4 right here, hold it in position where I need to be, and then you can see my rocker, what I'm working with. So far, this is it. I've got it all clinkoed from the inside. just because I couldn't close my door from the outside. So there's my 10,000 Clecos. I'll end up pulling each one of them off and spot welding them all in and hammering dolly. That is a lot of Clecos. And I've got a couple more just in case. I'll get my thing lined up. Once it's lined up, I will open the door and then Cleco the rest of my rocker down. It's on there. I'm digging this. So what I'm going to do is pull one. I don't know if it's going to work or not. Keep trying it. Some of these, like this one, doesn't have much of a lip. Maybe I just do it like that and shave it. Probably going to be the best. And just cut it off instead of trying to fold it down. Is what it is. Shall we continue? So this is a method that I developed whenever I was doing a ton of metal replacing. I learned keep a little more heat. You can get away with not having to drill this one a little more. I wouldn't recommend it, you know what I mean? This is my stuff, of course. It's going to be safe. It's not going to fall apart. I know for sure, guaranteed. You just have to like trust in your work and know what you're doing and be confident. You know? After each tack, I just tap it just because I want it to be super flush up against this super tack. All right, so here we go. There it is. So we all see it shuts. Very nice. By itself. Opens up. And there we go. And it's strong enough to hold me up. So I know I did something right. Got my line 1/4 inch off the lip. Marked it, made my line. Then every 2 inches, 1/2 inch from here. On this side, I was limited because there's no underneath. It's all ate up. So I'm gonna start right here. Normally I do one, then put a Cleco in it, and do another, but I did two. So I'll do that all the way down. Just so I can kind of give you an idea. Skip one, go to this one. How my mind kind of works. And I do this so I can penetrate all of it. What happens if you weld it, it won't penetrate. And your stuff will end up falling off. And that's a no-no. Okay, skip one. Same thing. Now you don't want to drill all the way through because then you have a big old hole to plug. You just want to widen it. Now you're guaranteed to penetrate all the way through. There's different ways of doing it. This is my way. These are okay. I'll show you real quick. See, these are okay. But, and maybe I could get them better. There's people out there that are super, super talented and can. I'm just talented. Here we go. Let's fill it. So this is what I'm looking at back here that I'm gonna have to move out the way. I'm gonna remove this cross member here, which used to hold my body. It's like a body brace and just bolted it down. But since my floor is not this long anymore, just gonna get it out the way somehow. I have to think about my gas tank because it holds on the front strap of my gas tank. Just keep that in mind that it's gonna need it somewhere somehow. So I'm gonna pull the gas tank down because there's a bunch of gas lines back there, brake lines that I'm gonna have to deal with, wires. Wires shouldn't be an issue. It's just more stuff that I've got to remove before I cut the frame in half and squeeze it in, take out about 28-ish inches. So next, I'll measure my drive shaft the way it is right now. And once I get it measured, then I'll take it off. And if I need to get it shortened, I will take it to get shortened. But what I'm hoping is once I measure it, I'll be able to go measure a short bed at a junkyard. And if it's close, man, that'll make this even nicer. The exhaust, I'll unbolt it off. It's all unboltable. Of course, I just cut it, shorten it. That's really no big deal. So here again, you can see how big this ugly spacer is, an adapter. So that's what we're working with. And I think that alone is going to keep me pretty busy all day. I'll start off with kind of like my measurements, take some notes, and then, man, we're going to dive right into it after that. See if we can get this frame shortened. That's a good challenge. Okay, this is what I'm going to measure it. On this drive shaft, it's got a ring right in front of it. Okay, then the shaft comes out, goes into the transmission. And I'm going to measure it from ring to ring. I know doing the rear that my ring is stable and it doesn't move. And it puts me at 71 3/4. So I know that this doesn't move, and I know that my drive shaft bolts flat to this side. Oh no, it's 71 5/16. There we go. Let me write that down before I forget. So basically what I'm doing is just measuring the length of the drive shaft right now. And then I had to go underneath and I had to add another 2.5 inches because from the front side of that plate to the rear, there's 2.5 inch spacing before it hits the transmission. So I have to make sure that I account for them 2.5 inches whenever I make my new cut for the drive shaft. So what I'll do now is I'll add 2.5 plus 71 5/16, and should be easy. Looks like 73 11/16. So we'll fast forward to that, but that's what it is.